Hello Matt, and against all my best wishes I am back downstairs. Anyway, it is the 11th of May and this week's been a pretty slow week to be honest, but I did get student finance more or less sorted, so that's a good thing, so I'll have money at uni thankfully. It's just accommodation now I need to sort out, and then I'll be all good to go to Winchester in September. So that's good news on my behalf. And that sort of brings me on to the topic at hand, which is education. So yeah, what do I think of it in general? Well, I think that the biggest thing plaguing all students is written exams. I mean, GCSEs. Think about it this way, can you remember a single question, like in the GCSEs? Okay, can you remember more than 10 questions in the GCSEs? I don't think you can, and that's not good because that's sort of practical uses they put in the exams, and if you forget them, that's not really showing you know them, it's just showing you remember a few facts. So I think written exams like the worst thing in education. Good thing our courses are, you know, all practical, which actually means you're learning something. And it's also why coursework was always the best way to go about grading it in GCSEs. But yeah, that's the biggest problem. Other big problems I'd say are the amount of pointless years we have, especially in subjects like maths. I mean, years, well obviously the start of school until about year 6, I'd say. Maths is really pretty necessary. But then year 7, 8, 9, actually all through our secondary school, the only maths you learn is stuff that will be really useless in the long run. So yeah, like, can you remember how to work out equations on a graph? I don't think you can. So yes, like me, like you want to be taken off, but then again no. I don't really know insurance, taxes, that. Well, I have to know it, but I didn't know them when I got out, so they should replace maths, like equations or graphs, with, like, taxes, insurance, real life maths. So that's the biggest problem, that's another big problem I think. However, I think the biggest nitpick about all of school is the fact that teachers can all be different. Now this is all levels of education, primary, secondary and college slash sixth form. I mean, like, secondary school was alright because you had different teachers for every subject, so you could like cope with having one bad teacher and then a good teacher. Primary school and college though, you have one teacher for the whole year. Now primary school I was lucky to not have a teacher that I thought was terrible. Now I thought they were pretty good. Well, they just had to teach us the basics. If they couldn't teach us the basics, they were failing at their job and they had to be fired. But college, I don't know. Mac doesn't really motivate us. He's not a very good teacher. He's just there to be like sort of a watchful eagle eye. That's all he is. I mean, he's a nice guy, but not really a good teacher. So yeah, I mean, make all teachers good, but that's hard to fix really. Right, so moving on to your other thing, which I answered the other week, well no, Sunday, about your vlogs, and I feel the constructive criticism is key to making our vlogs better. Now, I mean, I think our vlogs, especially mine, suffer a lot. Especially, well actually, they suffer a lot since the start of the year from being pretty standard. They're all pretty much the exact same thing. I ask a question, I answer a question, movie review, and then another topic on a Sunday. So, yeah. What constructive criticism can you give on my vlogs? Don't know what, just I'll accept anything. As long as it doesn't include scrapping my movie reviews because I like doing them, I'll be happy to accept anything. Make our vlogs better. Right, I have a choice of 2 movies to review this week. So one of them is a relatively recent movie that came out called Sleepless. I fell asleep watching it. No, I didn't. It was in the cinema. I watched it with a few friends, and I watched it yesterday, and I've already forgotten about 99% of it. So, yeah, I'm not going to review that. But if I run out of ideas, I'm going to review it. But just a spoiler alert, it's really bad. So instead, I'm going to review Silence of the Lambs. You may have heard of it. It's a really heavily, what's the word for it? Really well liked movie, appreciated by critics and horror movie fans alike. And let's look at it. Right, Silence of the Lambs follows a FBI academy student called Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster, who is sort of hired by an FBI investigator to ask questions to gather information about a cannibal, to gather information on another cannibal that is like terrorizing like the US. So it's just really an investigation mystery story which has horror elements in it. So it's a very simple story now you think about it, and it's filled with very thoughtful discussions, thoughtful pacing. Pacing moves along very well in the movie, I think. It's kind of like Terminator 1, how the pacing doesn't stop. Every scene there's something going on, which I think for a horror movie to do that, it is really, really good. I mean, horror movies I like, but they're not really the movies I'd say that are really good. But the few that get their pacing down, like this one, oh boy, it's good when it does that. So in terms of characters, Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster, she really does play the part well. I mean, at first I heard her accent, which is really southern, and it's like Southern American, and it's like a bit, I don't know, could this be distracting? She doesn't really sound, that intelligent, because that accent she's stereotyped as being, intelligent. However, she really does come across as like a really prosperous academy student and a graduate. Like, she really does come across as that, and a really good lead. You're kind of like the viewer's perspective. She's learning about it all for the first time. It's just story making 101 to get your hero to be like the viewer of the movie. That is brilliant when it does that. And Clarice Starling, great lead. Then there's obviously the other characters. The cannibal Buffalo Bill, he's an okay threat, but then again, when he's actually on screen, I wouldn't say he's the best, overall villain, because he doesn't really leave much of an impact, just a pretty weird guy. And then the other FBI investigators are pretty much every other FBI investigator from all the movies. Like, there's nothing unique about them. And that's about it for characters. Oh, wait. There's Hannibal Lecter. Right, so Hannibal Lecter. Regarded as one of the best movie characters of all time. Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar for his performance. Leading actor, and he was only in a short amount of the movie. And he's pretty much an archetype for the really clear-minded but really psychotic villain. So he's a really light villain. And I've got to say, they're totally right about it. I mean, honestly, just the way Anthony Hopkins says every word he says just drips with so much, like, just sort of creepiness, and everything he says got so many quotable lines. It's just the way he moves the story along. And the thing is, he's not even that much of a main character. He's only in the movie for like a quarter of an hour, but every time he's on screen, he is such a presence. When he's has dialogue with Jodie Foster, it's just fantastic. Oh my god. And his motivation's also really good, and the fact he's really cryptic as well. I can see where every single movie gets their inspiration from, as a character like him in. I mean, thinking about it, his character sort of got a similar role to the Joker in Suicide Squad. However, Joker in Suicide Squad, awful. Hannibal Lecter easily makes my top 10 villains of all time. Like, easily, maybe even top 5. He's just so, incredible. Incredible performance. Probably the most worthy performance of an Oscar in movie history. Well, one of the. And the horror elements, it gets down really well as well. I mean, like I said, the creepiness that Hannibal Lecter gives off is really good. Some of the scenes with Buffalo Bill, while he's not the most interesting character, they are really creepy. And then the last climax scene is just Clarice Starling and Buffalo Bill like trying to find each other in this dark building, and it's got a really tense vibe about it. And also some of the other scenes, the like Hannibal Lecter's plan to escape from prison, which I already mentioned it. He wants to escape. He's got like a sort of ambition for what he wants, and he'll manipulate anyone to get it. So whether that be Clarice Starling or anyone, like he'll just get it wherever he wants. And also another thing, I know I'm going off topic here, but another thing I really love is the scene when he introduced Hannibal Lecter. They say he's the most dangerous person. So Clarice Starling walks past about 3 cells with the usual criminals, absolutely mental, and then you see Hannibal Lecter just standing there, like straight up, and you're like, is this really the guy? And he is just, oh, fantastic scene. And yeah, you can tell I love Hannibal Lecter. Easily the best part of the movie, but the rest of the movie is still pretty good, really well paced, and the horror movie elements go really well. The only problem I'd actually have with the movie is the title, Silence of the Lambs. I know it's to do with one line in the movie which does have to do with Clarice Starling's backstory, but that's not really the key focus of the movie. But if that's my biggest complaint about the movie, then it's really freaking good. I can see why it won Best Picture, and all the Oscars it did. It's one of the best horror movies ever made, and it's definitely all spectacular. Thanks for watching the Vlogmat, and I will see you on Saturday.